Hello, hello. Thanks for clicking on my video. And today we're going to be discussing some technical analysis. We're going to give the full analysis on Sunday. Okay, so if you want the full analysis, we're going to do that on Sunday. We're just going to go through some stuff really quick here. Tesla, that's what you get a thumbs up. If you were subscribed, you get to give yourself a pat on the back because we noticed here that we had this left shoulder, head, and possibly just this consolidation here could be considered our right shoulder. And we are starting to see that play to the upside. We popped out of it and we're actually getting that retest and starting to move higher. So we want to see some strength through this retest right here, and then we can start to head to higher levels. And if I just measure out like an ABC pattern, if this is going to be our only dip that we get in Tesla, you can see that it projects us all the way up into filling this gap. That's mostly what I'll say. I'm not going to say, oh, it's going to go to the top of this channel. I'm just going to say for now, we look like we want to turn towards that gap. So good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. Big thumbs up. I wanted to give you guys your thumbs up first, but we're going to move into the indices before we get to the other stocks like NVDA and Apple and all those. So we did see this strong move over the past couple days here in the SPY, and we do see most of it faded down throughout the day today, okay? But then we did get a retest of this kind of resistance, this little trend that we were going with here, and now we're starting to pop up. So now we have to ask ourselves, are we going to reject on the MACD? Are we going to reject the cross and start to play out an ABC pattern? Or is this MACD going to roll over and give us one more dip to the downside? We'll try to discuss more of that in Sunday's video. And I'm going to give us a thumbs up on the Qs because if you were subscribed just yesterday, we said that this thing looks like it could start to form some kind of head and shoulders. We drew out this line here, this one here for our left shoulder, our head, and maybe we are carving out that right shoulder. You can see the measured move right up into here, right around 373.25. I don't necessarily want to be paying attention to that move because we do have a lot of resistance up in this level, okay? We could come up into here and fall off. We could go past it, maybe retest, then that move happens. So we'll discuss a lot of that on Sunday's video. For today, just give yourself a pat on the back and make your weekend start off on a good note. Sorry, I had a frog in my throat or something. Okay, Apple, we discussed Apple. We broke out of this range that we were in for quite some time, and we fell into our purple zone. It's our last support zone before we go touch that 200. And we're just struggling to get a daily close outside of this zone to go touch that 200. You can see the MACD starting to roll up right around here. It actually looked like it was just about to cross. And then this bar at, what is that, 230 actually saved us, okay? So we are still within here, and that just means we're in the same kind of story, okay? If we start to see a daily close out of this level, we could head towards that 200, but if we start to see strength, and then if we start to get out of this level, we can start to target the top of the range or even our gap fills that are up here that we'll go over on Sunday. Now, Amazon, we don't get a thumbs up, but we did enjoy the fact that we saw these kind of bars right in here. I said that this structure right here, this little consolidation on the hourly, if you go into shorter time frames, you're going to see a flag, but this consolidation as we break out of a wedge can lead us to gap higher, and that's exactly what happened today. What I was more expecting was a little bit stronger move to get us a little oversold to then bring us back down into this area. And overall, I'll go over it on Sunday, but I am still thinking that this could just be an ABC pattern to get us to the little neckline that I have here. And maybe, just maybe, we set up a perfect little trade for us to get a nice head and shoulders on this. If that does start to play out next week, I will give you kind of a measured move, and we do have a lot of resistances. So on Amazon, we do just want to be paying attention to gap resistance here. We want to pay attention to gap fill here. Even this gap right here could prove as resistance, but maybe that's what gives us our right shoulder. Overall, we want to be looking, okay, we come up, we get that right shoulder, boom, do we get the full resistance and reversal here? Do we get it here? Or do we go for a full retest? On NVIDIA, you know we've been paying attention to that left shoulder, that head, and maybe we are just about to form that right shoulder, okay? Now, that's just something that I'm paying attention to. This daily looks like it does want to curl over, so if things start to look bullish on the indices and we don't really see weakness in this push, if we have good volume, things like that, then we would look for this to just be some kind of pullback to then push us to higher levels. That would be the bullish case. The bearish case, I think, is that this head and shoulders is going to form and come up into this area, which is right around our gap fill. And then maybe we get another complex style head and shoulders to the downside, just like this left style over here. We got a little lip, then we get our left shoulder, then we get our head, maybe we get our big right shoulder and a little lip on the end of our at the end of our head and shoulders, and then we can tear to the downside. Now, this is why we want to be careful with these bounces, okay? The yield actually came all the way down and found support off of its 9-day moving average. So we want to be paying attention to this and seeing on Monday if this is able to extend to higher levels. If this extends to higher levels up into the unknown even more, then we are going to see more downside in the market. But if this is able to turn down and maybe get a retest of this high, we can see a bounce in the market. And if it starts to break down from there, we could see some recession scares, but we could see a big bounce from that. TLT was pretty cool because I had this marked 88.14, and what did we do today? After we came down into this area, like we were talking about in yesterday's video, or I guess 2 days ago's video, we came down into that area, we saw some support, and we hit my price target of 88.14. Today, we came out of that, and we actually came right into my price target of 88.14 and bounced from that level. So we want to be paying attention to the yields and TLT. Pretty much if you're paying attention to one of them, then you know what the other's doing. But TLT needed to be repriced because those yields are starting to skyrocket. That's exactly what happened over the last couple days. And maybe now we can start to see some kind of reversal. But you do have a lot of gap resistance, gap fills, things like that. So you have a lot of resistance throughout all this area. Overall with TLT, actually, we'll discuss the head and shoulders I want to set up in the future on Sunday. Okay, so tune in for Sunday. The overall takeaway from this video is you've been looking at stocks all week. It's been a very crazy week, so I encourage you to go do something relaxing. Okay, go relax, have a beer, you know, go watch a football game or something like that. All right, let's have a good weekend, and then I'll see you guys Sunday. Peace.